These are the answers to pages 445 and 446, Unit 13, Lesson 1. Number 1 is 2. Number 2, 2. Number 3, 4. Number 4, 4. 5, 2. 6, 3. Number 7A is an observational study. There's no manipulation or experiment being applied here. It is simply recording, record keeping. 7B, it's a controlled experiment. You have random assignment. There's your manipulation or treatment group with the 3 variable words, the common ones and the nonsense ones. And the recorded number of words were memorized. Number 8A, there was no experimental manipulation. And no, the researchers were not correct in their causal conclusion. B, subjects randomly assigned to 2 groups and 1 group manipulated. And were the researchers correct in their causal conclusion? Yes, if the experiment was well designed. It doesn't give us much detail there. Number 9, no, there was no experimental manipulation. Correlation does not imply causation. And now if there's any you need explanation. The most reliable data here, well, if they're looking for about adding another sports channel, you really don't want to survey people who are already involved in sports. You want a population of people that is going to include all varieties, all right? So men at a gym, fans at a football game, members of a high school soccer team, these are all, that's a small population that is already or interested in sports. So better off going to and taking a sample from a more general population of people at the mall. Number 2, which method would help the paper obtain the most reliable data? We're looking for a survey students about the quality of the school's lunch program. Well, you certainly don't want to just ask vegetarians. That's out. 25 students are randomly chosen from each group. That's good. That's a good random assignment of the wide variety of the population. Students who dislike school's lunch program are chosen. No. And a booth set up in the cafeteria for students to voluntarily complete the survey. When you're asking for volunteers like that, you may get bias in that it may be just the students who don't like the school's lunch program might offer their opinions, or you might have those who, you know, really like it will offer. So I think there can be bias there. So the best one here would be option 2. Which task is not a component of an observational study? Yeah, with an observational study, you don't have 2 groups, one acting as a control group. The researcher does make up a sample. He does analyze data and gathers the data from the sample. Number 4, the doctor wants to test the effectiveness of a new drug. She separates her sample of patients into 2 groups, administers the drug to only one of these groups. She then compares the results. Which type of study best describes? Again, it's the word best describes. This does sound like a controlled experiment where you have your two groups, one receiving the drug, the other not. Number 5, a market research firm needs to collect data on viewer preferences for local news programming in Buffalo. Which method of data collection is most appropriate? A census tries to hit the whole entire population. That's something we do every 10 years, and which actually is happening this year, 2020. A survey would probably be best. I don't know how you would do an observational study or a controlled experiment. So the best method of data collection would be the survey. A college class was learning about how young children interact with each other in different settings. They visited 4 local preschools and took notes on what they saw. Which type of study best describes this situation? They're just it's observational. They're simply observing. And I don't think, yeah, I don't think I need to talk through these others. All right, thank you once again.